Welcome back to the late day wrap up, trying to make this one as quick as possible for the sake of my voice right now. But with that said, I would like to wish you the best before we actually get into this one. And of course, this is a follow-up on this morning's analysis. If you want the more in-depth analysis, definitely check out this morning's video. But with that said, we'll start off with Dixie today, and Dixie having a nice move to the upside, coming back once again above the 10 simple on the weekly, and more importantly on the daily, having a nice little reversal right there, and even putting in a bit of a double-shouldered head and shoulders, or inverted head and shoulders here, more properly said, with a neckline right at the 90-90 region. So as long as we are below there, I don't necessarily consider this a resolved formation, but if it does start to get back above here, then yes, I would be looking at this as very likely to produce the actual measure move, which is likely to come back up somewhere around about 92 bucks, just kind of eyeballing this one out. Until that happens, still a little bit of range behavior here. Does it sell off on the short-term time frames and come back down to like 90.60 or 90.50? Perhaps yes. I don't have a strong opinion on that. But more importantly, now we actually do have a bit of a reversal formation in place. I am slightly apprehensive about it just because most of our macro reversals do take, as we have seen in the past, about 3 months or more, as we recall back to February 2018, as we recall back to May 2011, and as we recall back to March 08, and several times before that in the 90s. But more importantly over here, what would that align with if we actually do put in a reversal right here off this low? Then that would probably not count as a macro reversal if that's going to be the case, but a little bit of upside would be implied, probably somewhere right around 92 bucks, and then we'll come back and see that one in real time. So with that in mind, we will go down. Actually, let's go check out the very low term time frames here first. Yeah, a little bit of a short-term pullback here and then game on once again. Again, I want to see a resolution with a clear closure, preferably on a daily. Maybe we can use a 4-hour. If we use a 4-hour, maybe above 90.90. Yeah, I could probably do it there too. Then I'd be looking for that continuation. But until that happens, I still would look at it as an overall range. But now we actually do have a reversal formation in place. Anyways, with that said, on to major markets we go. Let's go check out Nasdaq first. Having a big bad down right there. So looks like, oh my God, man, that's a bit of a rug pull. I would be looking for a bounce off this region, to be fair, but this is going to start to look really, really toppy. Yes, I was bullish coming into today on this one, as I have been for like the last few months, and it has been the right call. However, in this case right here, it looks like we might have our first signals of a potential reversal in progress. I mean, that's a pretty girthy move as it stands. If we go put on our momentum oscillators, this is going to start to force everything down right now. Daily Stokes will certainly cross down as long as below 13,500. And obviously, daily RSI is going to get rejected from the bullish control zone here as well. Now, the daily RSI is still not very, it's still not like long-term bearish, but short-term it would imply some downside. So I would reserve caution on this one still. I technically should not be fully bearish on this one until we get it, at the very least, a daily reversal, meaning a lower low and a lower high. But in this case right here, we do have the etchings of potentially our first high in a while getting put in right now. I still want to see where things close out on Friday, obviously, but this is a bit concerning, especially seeing as SPY is taking it on the chin a little bit more harshly here. Also printing off 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence on the highs, and also a dual sell signal on the daily at the end of the month, while momentum also is turned down here as well. Not looking too hot, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see back down below 3,700 relatively soon. With that in mind, let's go over to what do we have next? Gold. Yeah, that's right. I want to check out gold really quick. We'll also go, someone asked for euro dollar. We can check out that one as well. Gold coming back down. It did come back down to that 1830-ish region that we spoke about yesterday. I still do look at this one as potential reversal here. I just want to see a closure above the 21. And then, yes, I would be looking for another 100 bucks up to 1950. But it's a long 2 days to go until Friday. And more importantly, if we do close below the 21 on the weekly once again, we're going to see weekly momentum oscillators turn back down, obviously, actually, because that's at basically 1880 region right now. So it does essentially need continuation, at the most by 2 weeks, but preferably by this week's end. Otherwise, I will get a little bit more short-term, or actually not even short-term, but medium-term bearish on this one, looking for a full-on move back down to about 1780-ish region before the next short-term bounce, and then I want to see that one in real time. But for now, still give it a chance. However, it is holding up okay in comparison to the rest of the markets. With that in mind, let's go over to Bitcoin, which is the star of the show right now. We did see the downside resolution on the last 12-hour closure right here below our blue box territory, of which that was measured off on this area right here. 12-hour doing the same thing as well, a nice and high time frame, and we essentially have continuation of trend. So I would be looking for actually this one to probably bounce up on the short-term time frames first, seeing as we did just hit the daily 55, but assuming that the daily closes anywhere below 31,000 bucks, it is very likely to be indicative of continuation to the downside. Next target in line is going to be somewhere around about 27,000, probably a small bounce there, but ultimately, as I have been saying, if we do have the downside resolution, I would ultimately be looking for about 23 to 24,000 bucks. Yes, I do want to see what the daily does, but keep in mind that not only are we breaking down and seeing continuation of the downtrend, we are seeing the 10 symbol cross the downside of the 21 right here on an actual breakage of or a potential breakage of structure on the daily, to be fair. Now 4 hours already broken structure here, so I look at this as, more or less a formality and likely to head on further south as 4-hour RSI gets back into the bearish control zone for the first time in a while. So with all of that in mind, looks like the boot looked like the O phases weren't enough this time. Oh, I should also denote that as we looked at on this morning's video, we do have a descending triangle in formation here, and this is pretty much resolved, which would have a measure move, I believe, back down around the $23,000 to $24,000 region. That is, yep, right around here, 24, and that's also in line around the weekly 21 exponential average as it stands right now, which is currently hovering around just below 23,000 bucks, but obviously will naturally rise on the next test. So if I had to call things right now, Bitcoin probably does have a short-term bounce based off the daily, and then I'd be looking for a move probably down to the 10 simply before the next short-term bounce that's in the $27,000 region. And then after that, probably continuation down to the 23 to 24,000 bucks. So, barring any sort of like a massive reversal from this region, I'd really have to see. There's really no reason to be bullish on this in the medium term, as long as Bitcoin's below this wick right here. This was your fake out. Obviously, faked me out as well. That's what a good fake out should do. But more importantly, that's why we had the criteria for getting for looking at a reversal and looking at this as a trap, which was a closure back down below 33,700. That was met, and then the doomsday happens right after that. So, with that said, I do want to wish you well. Hopefully this price action is finding you nice and comfortable. And also want to say, for myself, a lot of people asking, what am I doing on this? I'm actually just patiently waiting, man. I'm actually patiently waiting. I have no open positions, and all I want to do is take advantage of any sort of potentially major dump here, maybe even lower than 23 to 24,000, depending upon how the reaction is. But of course, we need to actually see that one first, and then potentially enter into another long-term position. But for right now, the reversal does look rather nasty. And again, I'm trying to find something that would be indicative of potentially a fake out below this level and then back on up, but still I really don't see anything here of interest until Bitcoin gets back above this pivot right here at about 34.5, or on a wick basis 34,872.5. So with that said, caution times, I would like to wish you well once again. Take care, and until next time.